Hey guys, it's Alex with Hammond Watch. I'm here today with another kind of fun solar beater watch. It's the Citizen E111, and that refers to the movement. Then it's dash 5039983. And I've bought maybe half a dozen of these over the years. Picked this one up, and I've never paid more than $90. Haven't really seen them for sale new anywhere. They're always bought secondhand, but as you can see, I mean, the condition on this one is pretty amazing, and that's kind of what you tend to find. People really didn't beat on these watches, kind of like they were intended to. You have really nice sizing. It's a 41 millimeter case. You have a nice compact 47.5 millimeter lug to lug. You're 11 millimeters thick. Having that solar quartz eco drive movement, you're able to keep the watch pretty thin. And then you have this really nice 5.5 millimeter crown. The ProMaster logo is polished and looks really nice, and it's almost a frosted or bead blasted effect beside it. Also, fantastic knurling. The grip on this is phenomenal. You'll see you have crown guards, but they're pretty shallow considering the height of the crown, which makes it incredibly easy to operate. Although probably leaves the crown just a little bit vulnerable. All things considered, I'm not worried about it. I don't think you'd have too much to be concerned about, especially since it's a 200 meter watch, meaning that crown is screwed in. In addition to that crown, you also have a screw down case back. And it's very basic, fully polished, a few identifying numbers and some basic specifications. And something I wanted to touch on really quick, Citizen is one of those value brands. They really try to pack a lot into an affordable package, and you always have to cut corners here and there. A lot of times it's the strap and the bracelet with watches. This is definitely somewhere where Citizen really kind of takes it easy so that they can put that money elsewhere. And I think it's where I would prefer a company save money. Give me a better movement or better luminescence or a better crown feel, or take your plastic movement holder out. Just give me something else outside of a fancy case back. This is the first thing that me personally that I want sacrificed. Inside of the watch, as I mentioned earlier, is the E111 movement, plus or minus 15 seconds a month, and a 6-month power reserve. Unfortunately, while we're back here, you'll see one of the bigger negatives of the watch, and that's the 21 millimeter lug width. And that gripe is starting to go away. I mean, there's more and more 21 millimeter options out there. It's just frustrating because I feel like we all have a ton of 20 and 22 millimeter options just kind of sitting around. And when you buy an affordable watch like this, you really don't want to have to go out and then immediately buy a strap for it as well. Black field watches in general tend to be strap monsters, so I really like to play around with my options. Probably my favorite thing about this watch is the finishing work and its level of comfort. There's not a whole lot going on, but what is done is very well executed. The case has, in general, a pretty nice uniform brushing. But you'll see there's just a nice polished edge as you enter the lug, which is really nice. They also did a polished side to that bezel, just adding a little bit of light play and a little bit of interest. That mineral crystal sits just a little bit proud of the case, makes it a little bit susceptible to getting chipped and scratched. But in general, I really like the overall kind of aesthetic they were going for here. And I love that they rounded out the case. As you go towards the back of the watch, you'll notice it's really softly kind of curved around. So when you're wearing the watch, even at its 41 millimeter size, and even if you have a smaller wrist, you're not really getting any pain spots. It's the same thing on the other side. I mean, even when you move away from the crown and get out of the crown guards, you'll see they do a nice job just bringing the case underneath, and it makes it extremely comfortable on wrist. The lume application is really well executed. Like most Citizens, you have a wonderful blue color. It's very vibrant at first. It dies a little bit faster than Luma Bright, but for the price, there aren't really many competitors that do it better. So there are a few things I dislike about the watch, and a lot of it resonates right here in the dial. I don't like the seconds hand missing the markers in the minute or seconds track running around the outside of the dial. That's a relatively small complaint, but still, when you're buying an Eco Drive or a quartz watch, you're buying it over automatic and manually wound competitors, so you like to see a higher degree of attention to detail. I also think all of the hands are undersized. I'd really like to see the minute and second hand stretch out to almost touching this track. Additionally, all of them are a little bit too thin. Probably not the seconds hand, but when you look at how wide these numerals are, and especially these indices at 3, 6, 9, when your hand is pointing, they appear larger, and it just makes them look a bit undersized for the watch. It makes you feel like they were used for something else and then just put into this design, like they weren't built for the watch. Probably the biggest detractor for me, though, with this particular piece is being able to see the solar panels. Citizen does a great job of hiding their solar panels when they do a textured dial or a flat black, but I find that when they do this glossy version, you're just able to see through and see some of the inner workings, and it doesn't really hurt the watch's legibility, but it kind of sucks. It pulls away from the beauty of what's an otherwise really simple design. I love solar technology. I just know that Citizen's capable of hiding it a little bit better than they do with this particular piece. So, I think we were just a few minor tweaks away from this being like the perfect sub $100 kind of beater watch. That said, I think it's a fantastic option, and it's a really fun piece to have around. I just, if it's going to bother you seeing solar panels as it does me, I'd probably steer clear and maybe look for a different option. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up. It really helps in YouTube's algorithm. Also, consider subscribing to the channel. I'm putting out watch content about twice a week, and I hope to see you in the next one.